So, let's proceed to Lesson 2, Trigonometry. So, trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that is essential to the physics subject. So, we have three trigonometric functions, that is the sine, the cosine, and the tangent function. So, let us have a short review. So, let us suppose that we have a right triangle here. So, this angle is measured 90 degrees, and angle theta is located here. So, this side is the opposite side with respect to angle theta. And this one is the adjacent side. And this one is called the hypotenuse. So, for the sine function, we have the opposite over the hypotenuse. And for the cosine function, we have the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And as for the tangent, we have the opposite side over the adjacent side. So, para ma-determine nyo kung alin yung opposite side or yung adjacent side, lagi lang kayong magre-refer dun sa angle in question. So, let us have example problem 1.2. So, for example, problem 1.2, on a sunny day, a tall building casts a shadow that is 67.2 meters long. The angle between the sun's rays and the ground is 50 degrees. Determine the height of the building. Zoom lang natin yung figure. So, we have the building here, and this one is the length of the shadow, which is equal to 67.2 meters. And the angle between the ray of the sun, this one, and the ground surface is equal to 50 degrees. So, we are asked to find the height of the building. So, referring to this figure, we know the angle and the length of the adjacent side. So, we are asked to find this one. So, again, adjacent and the opposite side. So, that means we'll have to use the tangent function. Tangent. So, tangent theta is again equal to opposite over adjacent side. So, we have theta is equal to 50 degrees, tangent 50 degrees, that is equal to the height of the building. Let's denote that to HO. And the adjacent side, that is equal to 67.2 meters. So, we have so the height of the building is equal to 67.2 meters times tangent 50 degrees. So, computing, so the height of the building is equal to 80.0858 meters. Don't forget na dapat naka-degree yung calculator nyo. Hindi siya dapat naka-radian. So, try to solve practice problem 1.3 on your own. So, you can pause this video. So, for practice problem 1.3, let us try to solve and check if your answer is correct. So, a certain mountain road is inclined 3.1 degrees with respect to the horizon. What is the change in altitude of the car as a result of its traveling 2.90 kilometers along the road? So, first, we have to draw a figure. So, for example, this is the horizon, while this one is the road. And so we have the angle 3.1 degrees here because this is the road and this is the horizon. So we are asked to find the distance here, or the change in altitude. Let's denote that as A. So you have traveled 2.90 kilometers along the road. So may na-form tayong right triangle. So merong tayong known length na 2.90 kilometers, that is equal to the length of the hypotenuse. While ang given angle is nandito, 3.1 degrees. And ang pinapahanap sa atin is yung altitude A. So, si altitude A, that is the opposite side with respect to the angle here. So, since we have the hypotenuse and the opposite side, we'll use the sine function. So, sine theta is again equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So, theta is equal to 3.1 degrees. So, sine 3.1 degrees is equal to altitude A over 2.90 kilometers. So, altitude A is equal to 2.90 kilometers times sine 31 degrees. So, that is equal to sine 3.1 degrees pala. So, that is equal to 0.1568 kilometers, or let's convert that to meters. 156.82 86 meters. So this is the change in altitude. Now, let's proceed to the inverse trigonometric function. So, sometimes, given na yung sides, no, right triangle, and we are asked to find the angle. So, this inverse trigonometric functions will help us solve for the unknown angle. So, we have here the arc sine, the arc cosine, and the arc tangent. And do note that these exponents, yung mga -1, that does not mean take the reciprocal, but either it means the inverse trigonometric function. So, si sine raised to -1, that is not equal to the cosecant. So, sine raised to -1 means to the arc sine. So, same for the cosine and the tangent function. So, for example 1.3, let us try to solve. A lakefront drops off gradually at an angle theta as figure below indicates. So, for safety reasons, it is necessary to know how deep the lake is at various distances from the shore. To provide some information about the depth, a lifeguard rows straight out from the shore a distance of 14 meters and drops a weight fishing line. By measuring the length of the line, the lifeguard determines the depth to be 2.25 meters. So, as required, we are asked to find the value of theta and the depth d at a distance of 22 meters. So, first, we have to use the inverse tangent to find the angle theta. So, we have a right triangle here. With this, the theta, and this is the opposite side equal to 2.25 meters, and the adjacent side, which is equal to 14 meters. So, we have example problem 1.3. So, solution. Letter A. So, again, theta is equal to arc tangent ng opposite over adjacent. So, arc tangent of 2.25 meters over 14 meters. So, cancel. And we have theta is equal to 9.13 degrees. For letter B, use the tangent function to find the known depth d. So, we'll consider this bigger right triangle. So, tangent 9.13 degrees, that is equal to the opposite side or the depth d all over the distance from the shore, which is the adjacent side, that is 20. So that is so That is 22 meters. So, the depth D is equal to 22.0 times the tangent 9.13 degrees. That is equal to 3.5356 meters. So, pause this video to try to solve practice problem 1.3. So, if you're done, let us solve and check if your answer is correct. So, first, let us have the figure. So, according to the problem, the three sticks are arranged to form a right triangle. So, since that the triangle is a right triangle, this angle here is equal to 90 degrees. And always remember that the longest side is the hypotenuse. So, for this one, this side measures 0.78 meters, and this is the longer leg, which is 0.62 meters, and the last one is the shorter leg, the 0.47 meters. So let us use so let us assign that this angle here is angle alpha and this one here is angle beta. So first, let us solve for angle alpha using the arc cosine function. So arc cosine of, so with referring to this angle, the adjacent side is the 0.47 meter side, and this is the hypotenuse, 0.7, sorry, so 0.47 over 0.78 meters. So this is equal to 52.94, or let's round that up to 53 degrees. For the angle beta, let's use again the cosine function. This is the arc cosine function rather. So this is equal to 0.62 all over 0.78. So meter, and we'll cancel that. So arc cosine 0.62 over 0.78. So rounding up, this is equal to 37 degrees. So let us check if our answer is correct. So 53 degrees plus 37 degrees, that is equal to 90 degrees. So meaning our answer is correct. By the way, you can also use the other inverse functions such as the arctangent and the arccosine to solve for the unknown angles. So you should arrive with the same answers. Now let's proceed to the Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem defines the relationship among the lengths of the three sides of the triangle. So if you have the length of the two sides and you are looking for the length of the other side, the Pythagorean Theorem is a useful one. So, according to the Pythagorean Theorem, the square of the length of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the two legs. So for a short recap, that we have two notes here. Before we can decide that which is the adjacent side and which is the opposite side, first we have to determine the angle. So, para malaman natin kung alin yung adjacent or yung opposite side, first we determine the angle. So, if we consider this angle here, the adjacent side or yung katabi niyang side, that is the adjacent side. So, for the opposite side, this is the opposite side, yung katapat naman niya. So, next, we have the use of -1 as an exponent for inverse trigonometric function does not mean take the reciprocal. So, again, balik tayo dito. These functions that does not denote the cosecant, the secant, and the cotangent. So, these are the inverse trigonometric functions. And instead, they mean arc sine, the arc cosine, and the arc tangent.